Welcome to Make Something with me, David Picciuto. Today we are making a wood toolbox. Recently I took a trip to the antique mall and I found this one and immediately fell in love with it and wanted to challenge myself to try to make this, but out of wood. So the first thing I did was head on over to KenCraft to go pick up some walnut. So we have most of the pieces cut for the carcass of this toolbox. Somewhere I made a mistake and miscalculated, and I have a little gap right here where the two lids are going to meet. Not sure what happened, but it's a happy accident because I'm going to fill that gap with a contrasting piece of hickory, and it's going to make a nice little decorative line there. So I'll have to cut that piece and then try to line up this groove on the inside as perfect as possible. So once we get that figured out, I'm going to cut thin little pieces of walnut that's going to fit into this groove and cover up these holes right here. And you might be asking yourself, why do you have holes right there? And that is because we need access to the drawers for the hinges that we're going to make in a later step. It'll make sense when we get there. Normally, I wouldn't put on all the hardware at this stage of the project, but since I'm kind of designing this on the fly, I wanted to make sure everything fits and that the outside was completely working before moving on to what I'm considering the harder part, and that is the inside drawers. These latches, the handle, and the hinge all came from Lee Valley, not sponsored, paid for it with cash money, but that is working out really, really good. Like, this could be done right now and I would be thrilled with it. I am loving it. I love the way the sides look. One of the things that made this process a lot easier is getting a self-centering drill bit. This one is from Make It Snappy Tools. Again, this is not sponsored. That's just where it came from. So you're using the hinge and the latches as the guide, and the self-centering drill bit drills a perfectly centered hole in there. One of the things I'm slightly worried about is this wood is only a 1/2 inch thick, so that's not a lot of screw depth in there for the handle. So I might also epoxy that on just for some added strength. So now it is time to move on to the hard part. We got to make the drawers and we got to figure out the hinge mechanism for that. This is going to be a challenge. Let's get awkward for a minute. What's the first thing you put on in the morning? Your underwear. Let me introduce to you step one. Hang with me because this is some game-changing stuff. Step 1 is made completely different than anything else you may have worn. The frontal area has a 3D comfort pouch. There's a hidden piece of elastic around the pouch to surround you and your team, keeping everything neatly in place. The inside has these ultra glide panels. These friction-resistant panels stops chafing and ride up. No more readjusting throughout the day. Here's the crazy thing. It's made from organic bamboo, which wicks away sweat instead of trapping it. This allows you to breathe comfortably all day long. I've been wearing Step 1 for a week, and I put it through the ultimate hot, sweaty test of go-kart racing in 90-degree humid weather. I can honestly say it's comfortable and it works. Made from 100% organically grown certified bamboo. Even the packaging is compostable, and we just got into composting ourselves. All of these things matter, plus it's one whole piece of fabric. There's no stitching down the sides. Less seams means more comfort. Use Pachuto15 for 15% off your order, or just click the link down below in the description. It'll take you right to the Step 1 website and automatically apply your 15% discount, and you can learn more about why they're so comfortable and how they are ethically made. That was awkward. Let's get back to the project. Let's talk about the drawers. They're not really drawers, but we're gonna call them drawers here. Nothing's fastened in yet. I just wanted to make sure everything was going to mechanically work. And so far, I am freaking thrilled about this. So all of the drawers, they are using box joints, or sometimes called finger joints. And I've got a 6-minute video on how that works. So I kind of breezed over that part, but if you want to know how that works, I've got the best and quickest video on the internet about how to make finger joints. So I wanted everything about this to be solid wood, no plywood. So the bottoms of the drawers just float in there and allow for expansion and contraction. I'm just using this fine thread bolt here, and then I'm going to use a cap nut on the end. So I will be cutting the bolts to length and then screwing that on there. When I was at KenCraft getting the wood for this, they suggested using Chicago screws or Chicago bolts. I'm not sure why I didn't go that route, but I went this route. That might be something you want to look into if you're going to make something like this. All the hinge mechanism parts, that's just cut out of aluminum. I like working with aluminum because you can use woodworking tools on aluminum, cuts and drills really easy. One of the other things that the guys at KenCraft suggested is on these thin walled drawers is to reinforce the holes that I drilled in there. So I just found some brass tubing and cut that off and shoved that in there. So I got the stainless steel socket head screw from McMaster Carr, as well as the brass tubing that I cut off, and as well as the cap nut there. Right now, this whole assembly comes out. The most important thing is that the 3 holes on the drawer, the top one only has 2, but these are all in line, and then these are in line, and same with the other side. And then the distance diagonally from here to here needs to be the same from here to here, and even on this 3-hole one, from here to here and to here. Even when it's closed, that distance will be the same. Those are the two most important things, that the diagonal distance between the holes is the same, and then that these three line up, and then these two line up, and then that these two line up. The further you have these two outside ones, the more throw that you'll get. Now you can get a lot more throw on a sheet metal toolbox because these walls are thinner. I was limited because of the thickness of the walls here. So this is all connected to these two pieces of walnut that will get glued inside, and there's a little lip here to allow the socket head screws some room. So the next thing I need to do is cut all these socket head screws down to length, add the cap nuts, and then add some finish. If you attempt to make something like this, you do need to make sure that the length of your drawers gives you enough room for these socket head caps to fit in there. I used a couple of coats of polyurethane for the finish. All the wood came from my friends at KenCraft. You can visit them online at kencraftcompany.com. Over on my Patreon page, I'll have some behind the scenes footage of this guy. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I found this toolbox at my local antique mall, and I bought this with the sole purpose of trying to make it. I love the challenge of the tackle box, the cantilever style drawers on the inside. I had to sway a little bit from the design here to make things work with the wood because everything is a lot thicker and you have different weird clearance issues. This is a really cool toolbox. I love the look of it. It's a Kennedy. Don't know anything about them. So the one thing that I tried to do that I did not accomplish was I wanted the drawers to open up with the lid. So it would go like this, and then this side would open up like this. I even made the brackets to do this, so it needs to connect to this bolt right here. So on this side, it connects to this bolt, and then on this side, it would connect to the lid. If I had that connected there, and then I would find the spot on the lid where I could drill the hole and add the bolt, it would open up, but it would only get this far. And it would take a lot of experimentation and a lot of hole drilling to find the perfect place. Plus, like on the Kennedy toolbox, this is slotted and then this is slotted to allow for some slop, so it could open up a little bit further. This is not a prototype, this is a finished piece. And so I didn't want to experiment trying to find the perfect hole and then potentially screwing it up and then having holes that shouldn't be there. So I am fine with it opening like this, and then I have to manually open the drawers. Still, it's pretty freaking cool, and I really, really, really love the way this came out. I love the way the sides look. If you think I did a good job, hit that like button, subscribe. We do all kinds of fun projects here at Make Something. That is going to wrap it up. As always, be safe, have fun, stay passionate, and make something.